On Point with Summer show every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, baby, where it's always summertime. Mwah. Summer Gonzalez from the Summer Show. We are live here on the bridge of Miami Gardens, Jazz in the Gardens. I'm here with the legendary MC Light. MC Light, I'm fine. How are you? You're so beautiful. It's so good to see you. My show goes out to the troops, and I just would like you to just send a shout out to the troops wherever they're stationed right now.
Well, this is a super shout out to all the troops. Just yesterday, all of the 90s, I did a lot of touring. It's like we got to one day to see station, range to the Navy. I did a lot of stuff for the USO, and I hadn't been out in a while, but I would definitely like to send a super shout out to all of you. Thank you for allowing us to live, protecting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Jazz in the Gardens, baby.
Get busy.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Appreciate it.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Summer Gonzalez, and you are listening to the On Point with Summer show, and I am in the building at Classics Recording Studios, where anything you need done, studio needs, can get done here. This is the perfect place to be. You need to check them out. Classics Recording Studio and Royal Media Entertainment is in the building getting it done behind the camera. Shout out to my boy Young Ken. What's up? And shout out to 3DP Magazine. He's also in the building today joining me. Where it's always summertime, baby. You know what it is. On the show tonight, I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait because, let me tell you, I went to Jazz in the Gardens this past weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and it was just wonderful, and it put me in a jazzy mood.
Yeah.
So I said, let me call up my boy Ernest Walker Jr. Ernest Walker Jr., ladies and gentlemen, in the building.
All right. How you doing, Summer?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. Fantastic. Things have been going good.
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Did you go to Jazz in the Gardens?
No, I had to perform.
Yeah.
I wasn't performing at Jazz in the Gardens, but I was performing. We had a good crowd.
Good.
And also considering we were in Miami, and my crowd was the Jazz in the Gardens crowd, but it seems like everybody that couldn't make it to the stadium came on over to the club.
Yeah, because you put on a really good show anyways,
yeah.
too. So
Yeah, I think so.
So if anybody got to go to Jazz in the Gardens and your show, they had like their cake and ate it too. Okay, they did, because I was gonna try to make it over there too because I got your invite and everything. At Crescendo's, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've been doing that Saturday nights for 8 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, been hanging on in there over there. Everything's been going really good.
Good for you. Yeah.
Had, as you know, Michael Basin showed up a couple of weeks ago, and celebrities just been coming in and out ever since.
Yeah, that's a good look for you.
Including you.
Yeah, I did.
You know, I'm so glad that you did that. I know that you have a military background, and you know that I do too, and that my show goes out to the troops.
Right.
And, you know, you're Air Force, right?
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah, you know it.
All the way.
Yeah.
Second generation Air Force. My father did 20 years.
Okay.
I did 5. I have a brother that did 12. I have another brother that did, Marcus did 8. And I have a cousin that did 30. He's just retired last year. And as far as right now in this generation, that's pretty much it. My brother-in-law, he did 20 years in the Navy.
Wow.
And so, but yeah, we're surrounded military. You know, being from Pensacola, Pensacola is definitely a military town, as you know. And the Naval Air Station there is where they train all the naval pilots. You know, we're very good. I was actually born on Eglin Air Force Base, which is in Fort Walton.
I know it well.
And we traveled all around until I was a freshman in high school.
And you were musically influenced by some pretty well-known well-known now neighbors. Talk a little bit about how you met the Wootens in Hawaii and everything.
Well, what happened is that when we were stationed in Hawaii, the base housing was real small. So, believe it or not, most military personnel with families lived in a neighborhood that was, a good half-hour drive from the base. Wasn't owned by the base, it's just that everybody in the neighborhood were military family. We all just rented the houses over there. And so, in the house directly across the street from us were the Wootens. Now, the Wootens were 5 brothers, and they had some sisters too. I don't remember the sisters, I think they were younger than me. Because at the time, I was about, I started kindergarten there, 1st grade and 2nd grade. So I was in that 5, 6, 7, 8 year range. And their father was stationed right along with my father. They were best of friends. And you know our families back then, you would have a house party or something like that, and everybody come to the house party. And of course the kids would come to the house party, until it turned dark, then we had to go to bed and all of that. And so we'd go across the street to the house parties. And everybody else would have house parties and put records on. They would have a house party, and they would have the kids playing drums, saxophone, guitar, bass. They had a whole band. Now these were Jackson 5 before the Jackson 5.
Right.
And trust me, the Wooten brothers, in my opinion, were better than the Jackson 5 because each one of them was a master of his instrument.
Wow.
They grew up to be. Victor Wooten is just plain incredible. As far as he's got to be like either number 1, 2, or 3 bass player in the entire world, no doubt about it. And Reggie and all the rest of them, fantastic. And so I used to go over and sit there and watch them play. And I was just fascinated with the saxophone.
Yeah.
And it took about 5 years later, but I never forgot that, and I picked it up.
I'm curious. You said that you had started off with another instrument. I forgot what.
Guitar.
Guitar. Okay. What drew you to that? Because I'll tell you what draws me to the sax, if I may. And I know that I probably speak for every woman when I say this. It's sexy.
Yeah, so that was good.
Now, did you go to the sax because it's sexy?
Not at all.
You...
I was 10-year-old boy.
Okay. I just wanted to know because
I just liked the sound, and what happened was that I started on guitar and took lessons for a year and was pretty good. But the following year, there was a program at our school where you can play band instruments. And so, I had to choose a band instrument. And I've seen pictures of all the instruments in my house. My father and mother always had all types of music in the house, but mostly jazz and R&B and old soul. And so I've seen pictures of saxes, King Curtis's sax, and Charlie Parker's sax and all of that all over the place. Trumpet players, guitar players, a lot of guitar players. And so I just liked the way it looked, and I liked the way it sounded. I already knew how it sounded. And it was the sound that gravitated me towards the sax. And that's how, and then as I grew older, I just incorporated my own personality into it to bring the sexiness out of it. But it was the sound itself at 10 that caused me to choose the sax.
Wow. So, can you give us a little bit of an example of that sound that pulled you in?
Sure.
All right. What you gonna play for us?
I'm gonna do a song from my '96 CD called "Cruising Down Broad Street."
Okay.
It was written by a friend named Richard Tucker, who also does some writing for Kindred Family Soul.
Okay. Speaking of shoes, when I came to see you at Crescendo's a couple Saturdays ago, you were telling me that you're working on something coming up. You had something coming up with Michael, or do you want to talk about that?
Well, I feel comfortable in talking about it now. Not a lot, you know. There's still some logistics to be worked out, but it's a definite that he's hired me to play for his New Year's Eve event that he has every year. Last year it was in New York, and I can't remember the exact amount of people they had. I think it was more like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, something like that, a lot. And this year is going to be in Miami. I better not say too much more.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to make some announcements, and but all I can say is that I'm on it. So.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
The reason why I said speaking of shoes is because as we get closer to the date and you start to let me know more information, I'm going to need to be able to visualize the shoes that I'm going to get to go to wear to the event. That's what made me think about that whole thing. Isn't that weird? But it is.
It's a woman thing.
Yeah, it is. But I wanted you to get put that.
I never would have guessed.
No, people are probably like, shoes, what you talking about? What does that have to do with shoes?
But all women are like, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, New Year's Eve and everything. Shoes are going to be like blinged out, okay? Let me tell everyone where they can get your music right now.
Okay, everything is under my name. So, EarnestWalkerJr.com, and just type in Ernest Walker Jr. on iTunes. Type in the same on Amazon, Of course, you can find me at Ernest Walker Jr. on Facebook. My Twitter is Ernest Walker Jr. And there's a musician site called Reverb Nation, Ernest Walker Jr. And if you just forget all the other stuff, just Google Ernest Walker Jr. and I've worked on that for years. The first about 11 pages are all me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, you get into some people who share my name, but it's not me. I had nothing to do with some of those criminal acts. You know, the state puts up people that, I was like,
well,
these guys got my name.
We got you on top.
I'm on top, right?
So, you know, that's good too. Also CD Baby, right?
CD Baby.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure we get that.
Yeah. But it's just, you know, as far as women, all these long URLs and everything, you know, you just
Ernest Walker Jr.
Put in Ernest Walker Jr. in the search engine, and it'll pop up. If you go to CD Baby and put Ernest Walker Jr. under search, and it'll come up.
Yeah, yeah. Talk a little bit about your reason for your grind, because I know you've been in the game a while, and the only reason why I know is because you had mentioned the military and things like that. But what is the grind for you?
Well, you know, I finally got to the point when I got older that I realized it was all about my love for music and my love for playing the horn. Every musician, I think most musicians I know, they've gone through the ups and downs and gone through the periods of, man, you know, nobody wants to pay for this, you know, you're working gigs for pennies, you know, you can't get any gigs. Everybody wants to go party with DJs. Nobody wants to hear anybody playing music, you know. So you get to periods where you want to put your horn down, you want to put your playing down, all of that. And I think I put my horn down for about 3 days. No.
You'll never put that. You're still holding it down. Since you walked in, you've been holding your baby. You've been holding your baby.
But yeah, I had, you know, stopped playing out for a while, and realized that, you know, there was too much of a love for it, and also there were a lot of people like yourself who love live music, who were looking for live music. Mostly it was just a lot of club owners, a lot of promoters that didn't understand this.
Right.
And, you know, said, we don't want any live music, we just deal with other things, but they make more money. And the bands try to convince them, you know, this is what you need, and they weren't listening. And so I decided, you know, just go ahead and do my thing, and even if it's for 50 people or 50,000, you know, I'm just going to do my thing. And because of that, things started taking off in the last few years, more so than they ever have. And that's one of the reasons, because of all the playing over all the years, that you know, I'm fairly well known in the South Florida area. I'm fairly well known in the Philadelphia area, but outside of that, I'm pretty obscure.
Yeah.
But those are the reasons for that.
Yeah. But
Excuse me. When I speak of things dropping off as far as club owners and the like, I'm talking about 10 years ago. Within the last 2 years, club owners, promoters have started to realize that live music is the thing. My phone's starting to ring off the hook. You know, people are starting to come to the shows everywhere we play. I play on a Monday night, and we have a packed house on a Monday night up in Pembroke Pines.
wait. Pembroke Pines? Where?
Cafe Iguanas.
Oh, you did send me. You did send it to me. You did.
And
I'm really close to there.
oh,
so
okay.
I'll have to come check you out.
Definitely. Oh, we have a lot of fun. That's Larry Dogg's band.
Okay.
And I do my thing with his band. And you know how I am. I normally don't play in front of a microphone. I use a wireless mic.
Yeah.
And I'm all over the
Walking
place.
around.
Right.
It's
And over there, I got tons of room to walk around.
Oh, yeah.
The place
You
is
might get
enormous.
lost.
Exactly. And so, and Larry gets up there and tells his jokes, and you know, we just have a ball over there. But all of these things are happening. I'm getting calls from other clubs and everything, and if you start to go around to some of the different places, you're seeing more and more live music all over the place. It's because the club owners are finally beginning to realize that this is what people want. And you know, we got to stop trying to skip on, you know, and trying to save a buck and everything. Hire our bands, get people in, and have a good time. And with that in mind, also, I'm seeing a lot of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds coming up playing instruments. And some of them are monster. I used this one cat, TJ, on bass. And, whoo! TJ brought out a 6-string the other night. And man, I said, man, you sound like one of these old-timers over here. Oh, smoking. And forgive me, TJ. I can't remember. I don't know TJ's exact age. I always call him the kid. I'm sure he's younger than 25.
Yeah.
But yeah, his expertise is outstanding.
Wow.
And then we got some other guys. You know, their expertise is fantastic. I have guys that come to my gigs all the time, sax players. And sax players always gravitate to others. And so they come, and some of these young guys are coming around. We had a guy coming to Gonzalez last Monday from California. He was playing with Patti LaBelle's band, and this guy couldn't have been more than about 22 years old.
Wow.
Fantastic sound. So we're seeing a lot more, and I'm happy because there was a lull there, you know. I started playing the sax in school, and you know, my father could have afforded to give me lessons and have me play privately, but he didn't have to. You know, all we had to do was get the horn, you know, go from there. There was a long period where kids, you know, they not only had to get their instrument, but then they also had to get an instructor to teach it or teach themselves, because the schools were cutting out so many programs. They still are today, but it seems to be coming back a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm real happy to see that.
So I know that you're every Thursday at Crescendos as well?
Well, yeah. Well, right now I've been doing solos Thursdays at Crescendos. It comes and goes, depends on, sometimes some other things come up and all of that. The consistent is Saturday with my full band at Crescendo. With Larry Dogg's band Monday at Cafe Iguanas in Pembroke Pines. And starting, not tomorrow, but next Friday, going to start at Roxy's Pub in West Palm Beach on Fridays with the full band.
So you're like up and down the
Yep.
whole, you know, East Coast pretty much of Florida.
Yeah.
But that's good because, like you said, your phone's ringing.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely, and it's gonna take off real soon.
Yeah.
You know, people gotta, but you know, it's the appreciation of good music. You know, and not to say that we're just putting out just great music, but it's just a matter, you know, if it's not us, it's other bands as well.
Yeah.
And people are beginning to appreciate good music, and they're appreciating a show. It's one thing that we do. We give a show.
Yeah.
We don't do gigs, we don't do sets, we do shows. And when people come and sit down and see my group, they leave entertained, completely entertained. And that's what I pride myself in.
Yeah.
And that's why we make such good music. And that's why people appreciate it.
And you should be proud of that, because that night that I came to see you, I didn't even catch a full set, and I was like blown away, you know. And I like the idea of you going around in the audience, because they want that. The audience wants to know that you care and you want to get up close with them.
Exactly.
You know? They love that. And I watched some of your video too. I believe it was on your website. It might have been on Facebook, but I think it was on your website. And you were just like serenading this lady. And she was just like, you know, like in another world. You know, wasn't to her anything. Her girl was like, the camera's on you. She's like, this is all about me. Like, you know, you make people feel like it's about them, and that's a beautiful thing. Because you don't know what that person went through earlier that day, or what they might be facing tomorrow. And if you can make them feel good in that moment.
And the thing about it is, if I'm playing and I look and when I do open my eyes and see somebody that's kind of like there but not there, a lot of people are accustomed to going to see different bands, and they're just being there, having a couple of drinks, talking and all of that, And I'm not for that at all. You know, you're a spirit, and so that's when I basically spiritually attack that person.
Yeah.
And,
I like that.
and then I see their eyes open up, and I say, okay, oh, they're fine, they're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And that happens. That what happens a lot of times with certain women and like gonna do that, you know.
Yeah.
But I with the wireless, I haven't played in front of a microphone in 10 years.
Wow. So you did something.
Yeah.
You did something different here tonight.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you doing that for us.
Oh, not a problem.
You know, first of all, you took time out of your busy schedule. You acclimated yourself to a little bit of a mishap that we had here technically. But, you know, Air Force, you know how we do.
Exactly.
We get it done. So, you know, you stayed, you hung in there, and I really, really, really appreciate that more than you know.
No.
You know?